Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day wherever you are. Today I'll be showing you how to make a bodice pattern, so let's get started. On the previous video, I showed you how to take your body measurement for this bodice pattern, and the first horizontal measurement is going to be your shoulder to shoulder measurement divided by 2. The second measurement is going to be your full bust measurement divided by 4. The third measurement is going to be your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. The fourth measurement is going to be your full waist measurement divided by 4, and then whatever you get, you're going to add 1 inch for the darts. The fifth measurement is going to be your full hips measurement divided by 4. The sixth measurement is going to be the armhole depth, and the formula to calculate the armhole depth is going to be your full bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. The seventh measurement is going to be the neck sternum measurement, and the front will be a width of 3 inches and a depth of 3 inches, and for the back is going to be a width of 3 inches and a depth of 1 inch. Now for the vertical measurement, the 8th measurement is going to be the shoulder to bust measurement, the 9th measurement is going to be the shoulder to waist measurement, and the 10th measurement is going to be the waist to hips measurement. To make the bodice pattern, we're going to need a pattern paper, and we're going to be folding it in half so that we can have a front piece and a back piece. Our second step is going to be marking down 1 inch from the top of our pattern paper, and then we're going to draw a straight line. And this line is going to be the shoulder line, and I'll write that down. The next step, we're going to be marking our shoulder to bust measurement, and mine is 10 inches, so I'm going to measure 10 inches from my shoulder, and then I will mark and draw a straight line. And this line is going to be our bust line, and I'll write that down. Next step, we're going to be measuring our shoulder to waist measurement, and mine is 16 inches, and I'll mark 16 inches from my shoulder line. Then we're going to take our straight ruler and we're going to draw a straight line, and then we're going to mark this line as our waistline, and I'm going to write that down. Next, we're going to be marking our waist to hips measurement, and mine is 9.5 inches, so I'm going to mark 9.5 from the waistline, and then I will draw a straight line. And this line is going to be the hip line, and I'll write that down. So now you should have your shoulder line, your bust line, your waistline, and your hip line. On the shoulder line, we're going to be marking our half shoulder to shoulder measurement. Mine was 16 inches divided by 2, which gives me 8 inches, and I'm going to mark 8 inches on the shoulder line. Next, we're going to be marking our front neckline, and we're going to be using 3 inches, which is a standard neckline, and we're going to mark on our shoulder line 3 inches. And for our front neck depth, we're going to be marking 3 inches as well. Next, we're going to be connecting the 2 marks with our curved ruler. And this is going to be our front neck. After we've done drawing our front neck, next we are going to mark 1 inch down from the shoulder line. Then we're going to take a curved ruler and we're going to connect the 3 inch mark to the 1 inch mark. And this is going to be our back neckline. On the bust line, I'm going to be marking my quarter bust measurement, and mine is 9 inches, and I will go ahead and mark that. On the waistline, I'm going to go ahead and mark a quarter of my waist measurement, which is 7.25 inches, and I'm going to go ahead and mark that. On the waistline, I'm going to go ahead and mark a quarter of my hips measurement, and mine is 10 inches, and I'm going to mark that on the hip line. In the end, you should have this measurement: a quarter of your hips measurement, a quarter of your waist measurement, a quarter of your bust measurement, and a half of your shoulder to shoulder measurement. And now we're going to take our straight ruler and we're going to draw a line from our bust line to our waistline. And now we'll take our curved ruler and we'll draw a line from our waistline to our hip line. On our shoulder line, we are going to be going down from this mark 1 inch. This is to create our shoulder slope. After we've marked that mark, now we are going to be taking a straight ruler and we are going to draw a straight line from the mark that we made to the neckline. From this new shoulder line, we are going to mark our armhole depth, and mine is 7.5, and I'm going to mark 7.5 down. Then I'm going to take my straight ruler and draw a straight line to that mark. And from that mark, I'm going to draw a straight line, and this is going to be our chest line. Then I'm going to mark this as my chest line and I will write that down. Then from the chest line, I'm going to add about 1 inch, and this is going to be for ease. To make our armhole, we are going to get the measurement of this line, and mine was 7.5, and then we're going to divide that by 2 so that we can get the midpoint, and mine will be 3.25. That will be the midpoint, and I'm going to go ahead and mark that. And then from this point, I'm going to go in and mark 0.75 inches. Then I'm going to draw a straight line from the shoulder point to that 0.75 mark we made. And now I'm going to take a curved ruler and I'll draw a line from the 0.75 mark to the chest line. Next, we're going to be connecting our chest line to our bust line. And this is going to be our front armhole, and I'm going to mark to indicate that. For our back armhole, we're going to leave this line straight as it is. Then we're going to take our curved ruler and we're going to draw a line from the midpoint to the chest line. And this is going to be our back armhole, and I'm going to draw 2 lines to indicate that. We are now going to be marking our darts, and on the bust line I'm going to mark a half of my nipple to nipple measurement or bust span, which is 4 inches, and I'm going to mark that down. And I'm also going to mark the 4 inches on my hip line. And I'm also going to mark the 4 inches on my waistline. And then I'm going to take my straight ruler and I'm going to draw a straight line from the bust line to the hip line. After we've drawn a straight line, next I'm going to be using this red pen and we're going to be marking our darts, and I'm going to mark 1/2 inch on the waistline, on the line, like so. And then I'm going to mark the other 1/2 inch on the other side. And these are going to be our dart legs. Then from the bust line, I'm going to go down 1 inch and then I will mark. And that is going to be the starting point of our dart. And from our hip line, I'm going to go up 2 inches. Now I'm going to take a straight ruler and I'm going to connect these points to the 2 points at the waistline. Then I'm going to connect the 2 inch mark with the 2 points. After you've done that, this is how our dart should look like. We're now going to add 1 inch allowance on the sides, and in case you're wondering why there is a line that is rubbed off, That is because I had to add an inch allowance for the darts, but you don't have to do this because I already told you to add it on the waistline measurements. After that, we're going to add half an inch at the bottom, and then we're going to add half an inch to the shoulder. And by the way guys, you don't necessarily need to add the allowance because you will reuse this to make various garments which need different allowances. I'm just adding allowance for the sake of this video. So now we're going to extend the armhole line to the allowance. I'm now going to indicate 2 lines for the back neckline and 1 line for the front neckline. So I'm going to write this as my front bodice, and then I'm going to put a note that I added 1 inch allowance to the side, half an inch to the bottom and the shoulder. After that, I'm going to go ahead and cut. I'm now going to open this up, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut right at the middle so that we can have a back piece and a front piece. After we've cut the 2 pieces together, I'm now going to transfer the markings on the back piece from the front piece. Then I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to draw a straight line from the markings. Now you should have your chest line, your bust line, your waistline and your hip line. So now we're going to be making our back darts, and I'm going to mark half of my nipple to nipple measurement just like we did on our front line, and I'm going to mark that on the bust line, the chest line, the waistline and the hip line. Then I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to connect all the points. On the chest line, I'm going to be marking half an inch down. On the waistline, I'm going to be marking half an inch on both sides. And on the hip line, I'm going to be going up 2 inches and then I'll mark. Then I'm going to connect this line to the 2 marks on our waistline to make our darts. Then I'm going to connect the 2 marks on our waistline to the 2-inch mark on our hip line. So now we've done with our back dart, and I'm going to mark this as my back bodice. On our front piece, I'm going to cut the front neckline, and then I'm also going to cut the front armhole. So now you should have your front bodice and the back bodice, and the front neckline is a bit deeper compared to the back piece, and the armhole on the front bodice is a bit curved compared to the back piece. So that's it for this project. Thank you so much guys for watching, and see you again next time. Bye and God bless.